Another issue that came up was drug and alcohol testing. You might know that under FDA requirements, and there's ever an accident of a certain category, we are required to provide or do a drug and alcohol test. In addition, there are random drug and alcohol tests. But related to accident testing, currently we do the testing and we allow the employee to go back into service pending the result of the test. Obviously, if there's something amiss in terms of our observation of the operator, that would not be the procedure, but as a general rule, the test is made and the operator goes back into operation, if you will. And so their suggestion was to make sure that the operator is in non-safety critical activities until the results of the test have been found and in our possession. So we think that's a good recommendation as well. Related to the review of the accident review boards and our safety committees, they noted that TriMet has uniquely in the industry a best practice that they thought very highly of. And this is a compliment, I think, to both our safety department as well as the ATU. They said the typical review process is 2 steps, review, and then usually a grievance filed by the union. So these things have been, in other places, have been very hard to resolve in terms of the definition of preventability and any discipline action that's required as a result of that. In our situation, we have a 3-step review, which is that, first of all, there's a bus accident review committee, for example, on the bus side, and what I described will be there's something very parallel on the rail side. And it's comprised of 2 bus operators who have at least 5 years of experience and 2 members of the training department. And then the safety director, manager of safety, is a tiebreaker on that as necessary. So they make the initial determination of is the accident preventable or not. That then can be appealed to an appeals board, which is similarly comprised 2 operators and 2 different people from the training department with the safety manager as a tiebreaker. The third and final step, though, is one that is what's unique, which is that the accident or the information can be reviewed to an independent National Safety Council accident prevention expert. And that expert makes an independent determination. And the union and TriMet agreed to the results of that final review. So that was unique. They thought that was highly positive in terms of the way that we resolve these so that they don't drag on forever, although sometimes I know it still seems that way, but compared to arbitration cases and all, it's very effective. They also reviewed safety department staffing. I wanted to note that there is not a terrific standard for what that should be. There was some older Urban Mass Transportation Administration, the predecessor to the Federal Transit Administration guidelines, that suggested that should be 1 safety professional for every 175 employees. K&J noted that most transit agencies don't attain that. What this would require, if we were to do it, just so you know, would be to increase the safety staff from 7 people currently to 12 positions. I want to look at that closely because I also, and this is one of the tasks we'll ask the task force to look at as well, is whether the most effective safety positions are in the safety department or frankly in the training department. Because there's sort of a different dynamic between the operators and the training department, which frankly is very positive and supportive, versus the safety department, which is not unsupportive, but has a different flavor to it, I think. And so the question is a level of effectiveness, and where if we add additional staffing, which I suspect at the conclusion of this we'll agree that some additional staffing is necessary, where is the most effective place to put that in terms of achieving our objectives and goals? So K&J summed up the report by saying that it found TriMet had many safe and secure operating practices and procedures. It recognized that the agency has made safety and security improvements in recent years, and we have several industry best practices. But I wanted to note that, and I found this very eloquently stated by the chair of our Safety and Service Excellence Task Force, Tom Walsh, who noted, so TriMet may have, and hopefully will, at the conclusion of this report and the implementation of this recommendation, absolutely everything at top-notch industry standard. That doesn't mean that we stop. And that's the message that I want this task force to really focus on with us, is how do we continue to improve? How do we continue to advance? How do we continue to improve the culture within TriMet to make sure that we achieve those safety objectives? So that's the quest we're on, and we're well on our way. I think this Phase 2 report is a great addition and a great help to us in achieving that objective. With that, I pause. I have a few very short remarks otherwise, but would pause for any questions or comments from the board.